Hey guys, Martin here bringing a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so we are going to go ahead and jump in and do the new GT Vegeta Burst Mode that came out today. Obviously there are the two different category missions, Youth and Gifted Warriors, so we're going to get those both done here in the video. As I always say with these Burst Mode ones, you only need to get the 6,000 points, which is a separate set of missions really. You only need to do that the one time, so when it comes to doing this, depending on which is your strongest category, right, Youth or Gifted Warriors, really, if you want to get this done in the most efficient way possible, you just get whichever is your best team, which I imagine for a lot of people could be Gifted Warriors, depending which Youth characters you have, because Gifted Warriors obviously includes, like, all the Vegetas and stuff, right? Get 6,000 points, and then all you need to do to beat the other mission is put on the Youth category condition, and then you can just turn all the other ones off, which means you'd only get 1,250 points for that run, but the event would only be as difficult as a standard Dokkan event, so then obviously it'd be very, very easy. But I always do for these videos, I do both the category runs and get 6,000 points, just to show that obviously it can be done with either team. But yeah, the most efficient way is obviously not to do that. But Youth gives you more points, so you can put on less modifiers. We're going to use the only int and physical characters, because that gives you the most, although AGL and physical is only a little bit lower. If you got the new Kid Goku, obviously you'd be able to use him and the Path to Power one on that kind of team setup. So I'm not sure which one would be better. I put on the 500 or less team cost, but we are using a team full of TURs, so I probably don't even need that one on. But obviously I'm not going for like a crazy high score here, we're just going for the 6,000 points. So we've put the damage reduction on from AGL units because we're not using those. Status effect, immunity, it's not really important. Bare minimum 15% damage reduction, which is 150 points. We don't need to give them extra stats on the extra phases. We don't need any of these mini attack up things. We can literally get away with doing the 50% attack raise, 50% defense raise. We don't need to give them a ton of extra HP. Got the 1000% one here at the bottom. Don't need to have this reduces damage like the damage threshold, or the negative type orbs damages you. Don't need to have the allies key -3 or even 1, to be fair. Support items not allowed, and support memories not allowed, give you quite a lot of points. So as you can see, that puts us to 6,020, which is all we need if we want to do the missions, right? So if we go to our team formation setup, we're going to use this team here. We've got the Path to Power Kid Goku leader, because of course he's a new Youth leader. With the event not hitting that hard, because it's literally just a normal Dokkan event with 50% extra attack, we can get away with using the Kid Gokus as our slot 1 units, because as long as they get enough orbs and get the damage reduction, they should be able to tank perfectly fine. So the one thing I do like to do with these burst mode things, it doesn't matter too much unless you're going for a high score with a ton of modifiers on, but go down the key sort of path on the map so you can get a bunch of extra key for the characters. That especially helps if you've put together a team that doesn't have like necessarily the best link setup and stuff like that, right? So we've got Kamehameha, Fierce Battle, you have the Innocence as well. So, I mean, I guess we could do that. We can get 7 orbs for Goku, so straight away, we've got that nice little bit of damage reduction for him. We've got a little bit of extra damage reduction for everybody else. We've got the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, obviously, is a solid super class support unit who can do nicely for us in slot 3. I deliberately made this team as well, not using any of, like, the crazy new units. So I'm not using the new Kid Goku. I'm not using the physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from the anniversary. Obviously, those characters would make the run easier if you do have them. But I do like to try and make these burst mode ones as accessible for people as possible if you're just trying to get that 6,000 points. Obviously not everyone's going to have every unit that everyone else has anyway, right? Even though they might be slightly older units, some of you guys might not have like the LR Gohan, for example. I'm also using the physical free-to-play, the Exchange Goten and Trunks, because I've actually never, because they didn't easy A, I was waiting for them to do the usual thing they do in the anniversary, right, where they easy A the free-to-play characters and the LR, like the LR and the TUR, and then they didn't do that, so I never did like showcases for them, so I've never actually used them, but I figured they were another easy to throw on the team character that most people should have. I mean, unless you've only really just started the game, and you didn't get the anniversary characters, like you've literally started within the last couple of days, I guess. then obviously you probably have these guys. They're not anything crazy, but they're an easy enough to just throw on the team as the last unit kind of character. But as you can see here, because we don't have to put on a ton of modifiers, the Path to Power Kid Goku is doing a lot of the work. Physical Goten and Trunks are another unit that are really good for this with their Easy A. We're obviously not going to have a full Kamehameha rotation for them all the time, but that only gives them extra defensive capability, so they're going to be able to do a lot of damage throughout the event regardless. And so we're going to be looking pretty good here. So again, we can get the orbs for Goku. We've got the Goten and the Trunks. Obviously, they're not the pair that originally came together, because the Int Goten goes with the Tech Trunks, the Physical Trunks goes with the AGL Goten, but they are both units that each work better when there is a Goten or Trunks like with them. So running the two of them together on the team works very nicely. And then, yeah, as you can see, Path to Power Kid Goku going to put in a lot of the work here. With the final phase being in, it's very unlikely that he really takes any damage at all. And as you can see, he puts out a lot of damage. Did the showcase for him earlier. For a unit that is providing a really decent amount of defensive support to the team, the fact that he's dropping attack stats like that is also really, really nice. So yeah, we probably, well, Goten got the 1 super. His defense is decent enough here. Trunks is obviously not going to hit all that hard, so probably don't finish him off here. What kind of damage are we taking from the super? Yeah, see, double digits. And that's the thing, like, I feel like they've made the last few burst modes quite a bit easier. Like, the fact that you can put on the bare minimum modifiers and it still lets you get to 6,000 points. Whereas I feel like some of the older ones, you really had to put on like a decent amount of modifiers to get to that 6,000. And then obviously, if you wanted to go for a higher score, you couldn't really get hugely higher than that, because your only options were to put the final few modifiers up, which would make the event really hard. I think this way is cool because it means that it's a lot easier for everybody to get the missions done and do the bare minimum. And then if you really want to go for like a crazy high score, it's easier to get that score above 6,000 by putting on these modifiers. And then if you do really want to go crazy, you can kind of have the like the high modifiers on. Oh yeah, I forgot his active skill. Yeah, I forgot about the exchange. I meant to just exchange into Goten, but there we go. Either way, use the skinny Gotenks attack, and then let these guys just attack in slot 3. I know the Goten. Actually, isn't it the Trunks wants physical orbs? The Goten gets better with any orb, so it doesn't need to be physical. Like, or actually, it might even just be non-physical, which means it probably didn't play the best of him in slot 3. Like I said, I haven't even really used him. I probably should have reread his passive before we put him on the team, but as you can see, he's just like he's the last resort. I just put him in as the 6th character kind of thing. I could have used some of the other characters. I wonder if physical Easy A... We got the physical base Gotenks, he would have been pretty good. The physical Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks may be a bit outdated, but again, with it being basically just a Dokkan event, the difficulty level is probably not high enough for it really to matter all that much, right? So, and then of course the physical units here having type advantage means that they are safe from really any sort of major damage anyway. These guys get, is it guaranteed dodge when they use their active skill? Yeah. Let's let them finish it off. I know Path to Power Kid Goku pretty much carried the entire run on his back here, but we'll let these guys go ahead and get the W here by dodging all the attacks in slot 1 and then finishing him off. So, as you can see, very, very easy to get the bare minimum 6,000 points here. I don't imagine many people would struggle with it too much. You obviously can put on some of the extra modifiers if you want to put on the ability for like things like attack lowering or sealing or stunning that can make it a little bit easier. We got the power level boost for the Awakening medals. That's always the thing I found the funniest about Burst Mode, is because you are essentially replaying a Dokkan event. You still get the 7 medals at the end, which obviously, like for me, I got GT Vegeta back when he first came out years ago, so I don't need any of his medals anymore. Maybe a future GT Vegeta will need some, and then it'll be useful to have those, but for now it is what it is. But it's funny that we got the power level boost. So there you go, easy 6,000 points, 6,020. Let me know how you guys got on. What youth team build did you use? We'll go ahead and jump in and do the Gifted Warriors one here in a sec. Obviously, we can accept all of the rewards, which gives us 8 stones, some meat items, which will be nice for the World Tournament starting tomorrow, And yeah, now all we have to do is the Gifted Warriors one. So do let me know how you guys got on. Obviously, if you want to go for a really high score, let us know in the Discord what you got. We do always like to have a little bit of friendly competition and see who can get the highest. So go ahead, the link is down below in the description. Join the Discord, let us know what your high score for this burst mode is. And let's cut to the Gifted Warriors run. Okay, so we're going to jump back in and do the Gifted Warriors run here. So the only thing that I had to change, because obviously the score goes down by 100, I went ahead and put on the damage of 100,000 or lower than 100,000 does 0. So everything else is the same. None of this stuff at the bottom here. No items, no support memories, obviously. And then the bare minimum for enemy HP, defense and attack. We're still using the int and physical. Again, with this build, there's probably a way to do it easily enough with the int or AGL as well. And then, of course, you have the option for AGL, int and physical. But, I mean, you get over 1,000 less points for doing all 3 types. So you definitely want to make sure you're doing one of the top 3, right, where you're only using 2 different types. But this is the mission we've got. We're going to use the GT Vegeta himself and basically just run a Vegeta family team. It's definitely not the craziest team by any stretch if we were thinking about actual difficult content. But, of course, for this setup, we should be perfectly fine. And we'll just go ahead and do the same thing again, where we get as much key as we can on the way to the boss. Not that it should make a huge difference, but obviously some of these different Vegetas do have different links. So, of course, it's giving all the key to the free-to-play Kid Trunks that we put on the team again, but hey-ho, is what it is. Xeno Vegeta obviously has guard for his first turn, so we'll go ahead and throw him on there, use you, and then let's go ahead and do that. So, shouldn't be too difficult. Obviously, the first run through, pretty straightforward. Obviously, the physical path to Power Kid Goku, his Easy A being as good as it is, did a lot of the heavy lifting, but for this run, the GT Super Saiyan Vegeta is essentially that guy, right, for the team, and we've got the double leads. He's going to be able to do very well. Obviously, he doesn't have a full GT Heroes or Giant 8 Power setup. Is it Giant 8 Power for the second one? GT Heroes is one of them. I think it is Giant 8 Power, right? But he's still going to be solid enough, right, as the leader and also, like, decent damage dealer, strong defensively. So we shouldn't have to worry too much. I mean, we still are going to end up one-turning the first phase here, so shouldn't have too much to worry about. And of course, like I said at the beginning, I've purposely made the teams without some of the newer units. Daima Vegeta would obviously be a really good leader for this team. Would give most of the units that you'd end up running on here the full, like, 200% leader skill. Full 220, sorry, with the new leader skill meta. So if you did get the Daima Vegeta, I know a lot of people won't have summoned for him, but if you did get the Daima Vegeta, he'd obviously be the go-to leader for this particular setup. But, you know, we got some solid units on here. Physical Angel Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, even without a Goku, is able to do decently well. Obviously post-Super, his defense is going to be very good. We've got the Blue Evolution Vegeta, who's still a very solid unit, both defensively and not so much offensively at the start, right? He's got to get built up a little bit, but he's another unit that can do very well for us. But physical Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku, Vegeta just taking care of business there in slot 1. This is not the greatest rotation, but I mean, I guess we'll do this. Have this for you. Type disadvantage in super in slot 1 would be kind of awkward, but I think we'll probably be all right here. The support from the Xeno Vegeta as well. Of course he did. Oh, and then we dodge. What a roller coaster that was. So he did super in slot 1, and then we just dodge and take 0 damage. So there you go. I guess this team, apart from the Blue Evolution Vegeta, doesn't have any really, like, solid go-to slot 1s. But again, because it's just a Dokkan event with 50% extra attack, it's very likely, even with the type disadvantage, that he would have killed us with the super in slot 1 anyway. So it's not really something you hugely have to worry about. Obviously, you don't want to put weaker type disadvantage units in slot 1 just in case. Or like free-to-play, like the free-to-play Trunks. Obviously not really a slot 1 unit anyway, but against even type neutral, probably not the best idea. But because, like I say, it's only a Dokkan event with 50% extra attack. I actually do wonder, because I had the stats up for the red zone when we were looking at the Kid Goku showcase. Do they actually show... Can we actually look at the Dokkan modes? Yeah, because I've never actually looked at the details for like a Dokkan event. But in theory, we should just be able to see the stats of the actual Dokkan event boss, right? I'm not sure where... Now it's going to be a case of actually trying to find the Vegeta one. But it would be interesting to see, like, what his super attack... There you go, there it is. It'd be interesting to see what his super attack damage actually is. Because then we know it's just 50% of that, right? So... yeah, his super attack... I've never looked at the stats for a Dokkan event before. His hardest hitting super attack in the entire run is 170k. So even with 50% extra attack, he's not doing more than like 300k damage. So as long as your units have 300k defense, unless they're type disadvantage, obviously, then everyone is just going to be tanking for double digits. So you really don't need to worry about people taking hits on this run. I mean, like this Vegeta, transforming Vegeta in slot 1's only at 146, but the GT Vegeta is already at 300k, which means even with like type neutral, he can't take damage from this Vegeta in slot 1, right? Go ahead and get his active skill in here. We do like the GT Super Saiyans do have very cool active skill animations. Great Golden Ape into Super Saiyan 4 transition, still very, very cool. And then yeah, once we grab our orbs here, go to 1.1 million in slot 1. So yeah, this guy can't touch us. Even Xeno Vegeta's at 600k. So yeah, I never thought to actually look at the stats for a Dokkan event before, because obviously once your account gets to a certain level, we all know even the newer ones like Dokkan events are not difficult in terms of how much damage they do. But I've never actually looked to see what the stats were. And yeah, the fact that like phase 1, the base STR base form Vegeta, his super attack does 100k. His normals do 52, and then we get to this last phase, his normals do 60k, and his super does 169.4, so basically 170. So, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder, where's some of the newest ones? I wonder what they're like. What about the Int Broly one? Let's see. The Int LR Broly from the Worldwide Celebration. Yeah, his super attack damage in the final phase is still only 140k. So Dokkan events haven't really moved on from that similar level of difficulty. So at least that's interesting to know, because if you do like, if you want to go for a high score and you're putting up these extra percentages with the conditions, you kind of know the base that you're working from, right? So he's doing 170k with a super attack. So if we were to put on the, like, I don't know if the attack modifiers actually do go that high, but the like times 1000 like percent plus 1000%, his super attack would still only be doing 1.8 million, which a lot of these kind of units that we could be running on this team would actually easily tank that, right? So that's actually quite interesting to know stat wise. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on the burst mode. I still think burst mode is like a fun idea for a mode for the game. I do like, as I said earlier in the first part, the fact that they've kind of changed it a bit so that it's now very easy to get the bare minimum, like 6,000 points, and then that leaves you the option of, if you want to, going for those higher scores by putting the higher modifiers on. And it's kind of a bit more fun to do that rather than the older ones. If it was hard enough to even get the 6,000 points, especially with some of the category that they would choose, then you kind of, it's already hard enough just to get the bare minimum. You don't want to be putting the extra modifiers on just to get an extra like 100 points or something. So I think this one will be a fun one to go for a high score. I think last time we got like 8,000 and something on the previous one. So yeah, I'll definitely go for a high score on this one and post it in the Discord. So as I said towards the end of part 1, make sure you guys join the Discord. Join the Discord regardless, right? Be a part of the community. But join the Discord if you want to post your burst mode high score. I got the power level boost again, really. Both runs for this video, both burst modes back to back. We got the power level bonus for the awakening medals. So I got 28 extra GT Vegeta awakening medals that I don't need for anything. Maybe a future, if we do get a future GT Vegeta, if we get like a Carnival LR Super Saiyan 4 Go Vegeta or something, maybe he would need 35 of these medals. But Yeah, definitely. Very interesting getting the power level boost both times. But there you go. That's the Gifted Warriors run done. 6,000 points. Let me know how you guys got on. Which teams did you use? What was your high score? All that good stuff. Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.